Hi, Anamol. Hi, everyone. It was so interesting to listen to I learn all the time because I'm not that deep into pitching and actually startup sessions. So I learn all the time. Let me see if I can share the screen. I hope so.
Brilliant.
Great. So honored to be a part of this and to be able to talk a little bit about what the City of Stockholm do in different ways. What is important for us as a city is to try to facilitate for all of you stars that are creating innovations, startups, and also bigger companies, and also investing in companies, of course, and ideas. So what we try to do is facilitating for sustainable growth in many different ways. And one way that we, in some way, package during this year is the both the collaboration, but first of all, the report, Home of Impact. So we try to communicate Stockholm as the Home of Impact. That was out from the record within VC investments into impact startups in Stockholm, actually 2021, where we not per capita, as we often do, hit the record, but in the total amount of VC investments into impact startups. So we beat it. Germany, UK, Netherlands, and all the rest in that part. So we did a report about that, and we will also continue next year to communicate Stockholm as the Home of Impact. But first of all, I would like to get down to a newly perception analysis that we let a UK-based company do for us. And I think this is important to also see how the rest of the world looks at Stockholm right now. And we are a fairly small capital when it comes to Europe and also globally. So we could, due to this, these experts in this perception analysis, they say we can never be one of the big seven. And of course, I'm struggling and I'm kind of stubborn, but I also realize that we are kind too small, both when it comes to, of course, the inhabitants, but also a lot of other things. And we also are a small country, of course. But we are, as you can see, so close to the big seven, and this has strengthened during the pandemic also in different ways, of course. Maybe the way we coped with the pandemic and didn't shut down like a lot of other cities and capitals did, actually, but also in other ways. We have been working and communicate and also has been strong since many decades within sustainability, of course. So is everything good when it comes to Stockholm and the perception of Stockholm? Yes, it's kind of good, most of it, but we also lack things. So we have a really huge challenge within talent, and we will come back to that during next year. We'll start a talent meetup. We'll go around on different kind of hubs to try to get the talents to get here to deepen down even better into the Stockholm community. They are enjoying the work they do. They're enjoying the colleagues and the hubs or the companies that they are in, but they don't really seem to get into the broader picture of Stockholm and connect with Stockholm in broader ways. So that's something that we will start to work with next year. And also when it comes to a part of the character and attitudes, of course, we have some challenges there. But as you see, we score really high when it comes to livability, and we know that, but also when it comes to influence. And I think that's a combination, of course, of old heritage, but also that we are kind of mature and also kind of brave in our way to see both on work, but also on different kinds in life. We talk a lot about life-work balance. Even before the pandemic, 30% of the Stockholmers worked remotely some days, and that, of course, the pandemic increased enormously, and also in the rest of the globe. But we were already there before the pandemic. So in many ways, we are kind of strong, but we also have challenges, of course. So when you look at the brand Stockholm, we are, as I said, we are strong in green and clean, of course. Also kind of strong in safety, even though we have some discussion in the city about unsafe areas and like that. But most of the areas in Stockholm are actually so safe, and it looks also like a safe city when it comes to counterparts in Europe and other capitals in the globe, of course. Gender equality, of course. We work, as you might know, with an initiative called A Woman's Place, and that's a way to visualize that gender equality. And sustainability innovation, of course, we're strong in that. We have some challenges when it comes to visitors, but also public transports. But that's something that we also try to work with. Our sister company is connected to the visitor side, so we cover most of these sectors. So what did we do this year, and what will we continue with even next year? One of the things that we started this year and we'll continue with is the Stockholm Impact Week. It was in the ground a collaboration between Invest Stockholm as a part of the City of Stockholm and also Nordic Foundation and Stockholm Tech. And it ended up that Nordic started the Impact Week and we continued it. And we will do that next year also, but maybe we will compromise it or do it a little bit more dense into a fewer days from our perspective. But we think that this is a great way to communicate the strength in Stockholm and also how far ahead we are when it comes to impact in different ways. So here is just a glimpse of what we actually did. It was in September 6 to 14. And it has a lot of different angles, and also, as you see, it was combined to the growth issue. We had a Stockholm Impact Job Fair, ecosystem hack, and also connected to startups and VCs. So that was a couple of things that we actually did. And we also tried to combine it with a couple of sectors that we work with, but also partnering up with organizations like Reach for Change and Feminvest, who, in our perspective, is so important to drive the development further on. So this is just some short slides. We held the Impact Week on Epicenter this year, and we had a couple of crowded days, and we so much enjoyed it. So we already decided that we'll do the same next year. So as you see, a lot of, and maybe this is not a lot of a large amount of site visitors, but for us in a fairly small website and also a small organization of just 20 persons, it's kind of good job, and we get a lot of huge reach into different kind of channels also. So Stockholm Social Impact Day was another one that we cooperated with Feminvest and Reach for Change, and it doesn't really looks like that on this picture, but it was really crowded actually, and it was so much positive energy in the room, and two are really important organizations to drive that change forward actually. I mentioned A Woman's Place shortly, and for us it's a really important initiative. It combines the storytelling of Stockholm as a society and a city when the gender equality issue is so important, and we are kind of mature in the work there, but we also need to work. We have a lot of things to work further on with, not at least when it comes to female-founded companies when they need investments. They're still at such a low level, so it's so much to do there. And we ended up with a panel with Caroline Farberger and also Hilleson from Novara, and also Helene Barnekow, former Microsoft CEO of Sweden. And what was their conclusion was that it's very much up to having role models, and those three have in different ways been role models for A Woman's Place in Stockholm and A Woman's Place globally, of course. And their best advice was to let the things that you do in the position as a CEO or a site manager or a part of the management group is that it's a small part of changes, but it's so important that you actually are working as and also doing good example as a role model, because as a man and also as a woman, of course, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, both of the gender are so important to make this change happen actually. What we ended this year with was actually a new initiative, or it was actually the second year we did it, but it's kind of new. It's called Stockholm Creative Tech Week. It combines tech with creativity. So it was entertainment, music, broadcasting, art, everything that combines creativity into tech. And we held it in Hasselbacken on Djurgården. And we also had a lot of different organizations, not the least the co-host of the event, who was Stockholm Music City, but also a lot of other different organizations within creativity and film, of course. I mentioned music, so it's really a broad kind of event with a lot of different sectors. And it was great. We will evaluate that, of course, and see what can we do next year. But what's for sure is that we will continue the work with Home of Impact, communicate Stockholm as the Home of Impact, and also combined the tech scene, the startup scene, try to strengthen that and do the platform for all your entrepreneurs, investors, and companies, so that you can continue with your work in the best way. So
brilliant.
Amol, I think that was all.
That's great, and a great presentation. What an awesome work you guys are doing. Like, it's not a big team, as you say, but there's so much output coming out. The Impact Week, Creative Tech Week, Talent, Femtech, Startup Support. So we are really seeing this with a lot of awe.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Namul, Mekar, and Jens. Really great event, and I'm sorry if the light is weird. I'm in a box at Unity because my colleagues are making the saffron buns and the Christmas party tonight, kind of. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.